Good morning. Good morning. Phew. Excuse me. Good morning. Let me know that you're here. Say hello as I hit live in all the places. All right. Now let me pull this up on my phone. Whoops. Here we go. Here's my phone. All right. So it's a beautiful day here in Georgia, and let me check our stuff here. Make sure I've got everything where it needs to be. Beautiful. All right. So as I said, as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. And I actually, I can't believe it's yesterday was November 8th, and I had to turn my air conditioner on because it got up over 80 degrees and the inside of the house just started feeling so stuffy and warm that in order to even be able to go to bed last night and sleep, we had to turn the air conditioner on. So, and I believe it's supposed to be relatively warm like that again today. So the air conditioner is still on and it's November. So crazy, crazy, right? And it's Saturday morning, and I hope you guys are doing exceptionally well. And I mean, what are you going to be doing for the weekend? For me, I'm going to be working for part of it. As most of you probably know, I'm still a hairstylist. And so Saturdays is hair day, right? For a lot of people that work during the week. And so the only time they have is the weekend. So I do work on Saturdays. Every now and then I have a Saturday off. I try to, I had a goal a while back, but I don't always stick to it. You know how it is. So anyway, I had a goal a while back that I was going to take one Saturday a month off and just do whatever I wanted to do. And that's really nice in the summertime because that's when the farmers market is on Saturdays, and you can just go and the farmers market that we would go to is in the middle of this town square that's not too far from us. And so then we would go get something to eat, maybe have some coffee, just enjoy walking around and looking at things and just make a time of it, right? And so as it gets into the fall and the winter months, there's not as much, but they still have that relatively during the cooler months. However, there's not as much to choose from, so we don't typically do it that much during the winter. I believe it or not, I discovered that there is a company that is close to me that does this, what they call crop drop. And so once a week, well, I really do it every 2 weeks because it's only my daughter and I living in the house. And so we don't go through our veggies quite as fast. But I can order a box of fresh produce that they actually deliver it to my door, and it's like $30 for this pretty significant size box filled with fresh stuff. But the thing is, you don't know what it is every week. It changes depending on what they get from the farmers markets and some of the farmers around, right? And so sometimes we get things that we can't or use, or I can use, but my daughter can't because she has a lot of stomach things that we have to be mindful of. And so this last one we got, there was a few things in there that she won't be able to use. So it'll take me a while to get through them, right? Good morning, Wendy. Good morning. Great to have you here. I imagine where you live, like I was saying earlier, I've got my air conditioner on again because it got quite warm yesterday and it's supposed to be warm today. So do you ever turn your air conditioner off being in Miami? I have no idea. And then I'm going to get to the affirmation and journal prompt. And before I do, I'm just going to tell you, obviously, I have been having um, a lot of people that are relationship experts. And I even had one on my podcast last night. And so that video will be coming soon. And I just dropped a really good one with Jean Green, who's in the group. I just dropped it yesterday. And so if you get the chance, look in the comments. Always air conditioner, yeah. Well, we do have to have the heat here in Georgia, part of the time, but so it feels strange to have the air conditioner on right now. And I resisted it for a bit, but as the temperature started climbing, it was like, okay, I'm going for it. The most important thing is that we're comfortable and we can sleep, right? But if you get the chance to go in and look in the comments and see that the podcast with Jean Green was published, go in and check it out because it was really, really good. And since she's in the group, you'll get the chance to know her a little bit better. But the person I had yesterday, and it'll be, I don't know how long it'll be before it actually gets published because there's a delay between when recording it and then it actually getting out there. But she was a relationship expert. And, we've got several relationship experts in our group. We've got Lois is going to be here on the 14th, which is, what is that? Is it a Thursday or is it a Wednesday? The 14th is a Thursday. So she's going to be here at 5 p.m. Eastern about becoming or being magnetic to the relationship that you want, whether you're not in one or you are one, doesn't matter, but it's teaching you how to do that. So I've been, really involved with a lot of people recently that are all about relationships. So when I show you this affirmation, you'll understand why I'm explaining that. All right, so hold on. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Oh, I did it again. Hold on. Delete. Okay, so give me just a second. I hit the wrong button. All right. All right, you guys ready? Now you'll know why I told you about all the people that I've talked to recently about relationships, all right, so our affirmation for today is, I divorce my old story and marry the truth of my unlimited possibilities. That just felt good. If we're going to divorce anything, it should be our old stories of who we are, right? So how do you guys feel about that one? Any thoughts? Let me see. We've got anybody? Oh, I forgot to do something over here. Well, I feel that I love this one because I have been divorced and not in a relationship right now, except for with myself and learning about who I am and really getting in touch with what I really want, right? So to me, this feels so good because my divorce that I had was not so smooth, right? And not fun, but it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. At the moment, I didn't feel that way. And it's a long story, but he was having an affair right under my nose while I was pregnant. And so we ended up splitting up when I was 8 months pregnant. And at the time, I was so devastated, because I had all these visions of what life was going to be like, right? Here I was pregnant, and we even while I'm pregnant and he's seeing someone else and I didn't know, but we were even making all these plans about we were going to get a new house because we were in a house that we felt like um, wasn't big enough to bring in this to have this extra person, which it really was. But for whatever reason, we were daydreaming about this new house, and we were daydreaming about how we would fix up the nursery and all these things. The whole time he was seeing someone else. I had no idea. Now, I say I had no idea. However, I did feel that there was this disconnect, right? There was something that was amiss, but he was able to convince me that it was because I was hormonal and pregnant. And so I let him convince me otherwise. So I have since learned more than once that when your intuition tells you something, it's time to listen and don't let somebody convince you otherwise. That God, the universe, your intuition is telling you, don't wear blinders, man. There's something here. And so I was devastated. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I felt like my life was ending. And I will be honest, I was so devastated that the only reason I took care of myself at all was because I was pregnant, right? So later, I felt like the best gift that God gave me was Him walking away while I was pregnant. Because I had a purpose, I had something to hold on to, I had something that I needed to take care of myself because of. Because I really don't know, I was so needy, so into that man and that marriage that I think I would have crumbled. And I don't really know what would have happened, and I could be wrong. I'll never know. The thing is that the blessing that he gave me was walking away while I was pregnant. And so there are stories in our life that we can divorce the old stories. We can divorce how we feel about those stories. We can divorce anything that is feeling constrictive because of those stories, right? Or maybe it's just a story you've been telling yourself about you're trying to do something, you say, oh, I can't do this. Even though deep down you really want to, whether that's with your business, a relationship, your communication, you're taking care of your body, whatever it is, we sometimes hold on to old stories about that. And so it's time to look at it and then divorce your old story because it's old, right? And marry the truth of my unlimited possibilities. Because I will be honest, if I had stayed with that man that I wanted to stay with so bad, I would not have anything near the life that I have now. And I know that deep in my heart, because in actuality, he was not a good man and he was not good for me, right? And, but in my mind, I wanted to stay with that because I couldn't see it from the inside. It was when I got outside of it and released a lot of that old story about it that I began to see what a gift it was that he walked away. But it was also a gift, the crap that I went through that I didn't even recognize was crap because I was in it. Does that make sense too? Let's see. Interesting. As I'm helping to plan my ex-husband's funeral, the unlimited possibilities that are out there and those that I have come through have made me who I am today. Yes. Yes. I mean, that's true for everything we've gone through. Like when I do my podcast, part of my intro is that we have a mosaic life. It's all the bits and pieces of our life. It's like broken glass everywhere that we've been able to create this beautiful work of art. A mosaic table is just filled with broken pieces, and it's gorgeous, right? So it's all the pieces of us, the good, the bad, the indifferent, that all create this beautiful mosaic of who we are. Take any one of those things that happen to us away, and we're different. And I love who I am today. I do. I love who I am. Not to say I'm not still growing and there's not things that I still want to develop in me, but oh man, I am grateful for every one of those things in my life that at the time felt like a tragedy, felt like a misstep, or that felt like a total mistake, right? Or felt like somebody doing something against me. Every single one of those things I can now look at with gratitude. And I forgive people. I don't mean I have to let them back in my life, right? It just means that I'm not holding on to whatever resentment or anger that I had against them, because that doesn't serve me. Remember what the thing is that if you're holding on to anger and not forgiving someone, that's like drinking poison and expecting them to die. Doesn't affect them at all. And actually, the worse a person is, the less likely they even remember that they did a damn thing to you, right? And I was reading a book yesterday, and one of the things that I thought was a profound statement in it, and I can't quite quote it exactly, and I can't even tell. Oh, it's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. That's the name of it. I love this book. I'm reading it again. And then when I finish it, I'll stick it on my shelf and I'll get another one, right? I'm always getting new books, and then I'm pulling out old ones that I just love. And so if you haven't read that one, definitely get it and read it. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And if I remember, I will put a link in the comments for you to purchase through my store if you're so inclined to. And so anyway, in the book, he made a statement, was that one person's tragedy is another person's treasure. And it's like the same thing can happen to two different people. One of them feels that they are doomed for the rest of their life because of that and how it felt. And the other person takes it as a stepping stone for what they need to do and what they want to learn and how they've grown through it, right? And so we get to choose. Are we going to let something shut us down, or are we going to let something build us up? And so if we divorce our old story of being a victim or being wronged, making mistakes, we can hold on to the gift of the knowledge, the gift of the learning that came from whatever happened. And sometimes it's just like one of the things that I've talked about before, but I won't talk about now. The gift I learned was to just really, really listen to my inner guidance, right? And I had it a little bit with that husband, right? But then I had another person that it was like the things that happened in that relationship. And so it's interesting. And so when we divorce our old story and then marry the truth of our unlimited possibilities, our unlimited potential, man, oh man, can we just grow and bloom, right? You guys ready to grow and bloom? You have another sip of my coffee. And actually, the story of what happened with my first husband is the subject of I was a author in a multiple author book, and it was about hope. What is it? Hope is for healing or something like that. I don't remember. And that was the story that I shared, was the the story of how this transpired with he and I, and what my gift was that came out of it. And unfortunately, that publishing house closed up. And so I only have probably, I'm looking at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 books left. If anybody is interested in one, let me know, and then I can hook you up. And so just it's got quite a few authors in there, and it's everyone is telling a different story about how they feel like hope and can come from so many places. So a lot of great stories in there. So just let me know if you're interested. All right. And so now I'm going to grab the journal prompt. Let me take the word journal prompt off there because this one's a little bit long too, but it needed to be long. Let's see if it'll all go. Well, it leaves part of it off. I'll fill it in and then I'll put it into the description so that you'll have the full thing. So you ready? Imagine you're writing your acceptance speech for receiving a Most Transformed Life Award. It's almost like when you were in high school and they gave out the awards for the most changed, the friendliest, and all that stuff. Now it is your Most Transformed Life Award. Just think about that. We all have major transformations in our life, right? What bold, amazing things did you accomplish once you kicked your old story to the curb and said, I do, to your infinite potential? What bold, amazing things did you accomplish, right? And so right now, if you're here, you're on the other side of some of your stories, right? You may still be going through a story right now, and that's okay, right? We all have them. They happen every now and then because we're human and we're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to learn, continue to be pushed sometimes and pulled into a new adventure, a new feeling, a new thought. So we're looking at the things that we've accomplished up to today because we kicked to that old story. But then we can also be imagining the future a year from today, as this old stories that you've had have just been thrown to the curb. They're not part of your life anymore. You've said, I do, to your infinite potential. What do you really want to be happening in your life in the next year that would be worthy of Most Transformed Life Award? And to be honest with you, anything you do that you've grown and moved forward with is worthy, right? So I love this because I love doing these visualizations of a future self. And just real quick, I want to share, I watched, and I don't remember if I shared, but there's a movie on Amazon Prime that is called, I think it's called My Old Ass. It doesn't sound like it would be good. And it's funny because I was asking my daughter if she wanted to watch it with me because I watched it and I want to watch it again. But she said, oh, I've heard about that, but I haven't watched it yet. So I don't know if you've heard about it. But anyway, it's about this one girl that ends up, she's does shrooms on an island with some friends. And I'm not condoning doing shrooms, so don't even go there. But the thing is that in this altered state, she actually has a conversation with her future self as a physical person that's sitting next to her. And she has a conversation. And it is the story expands from there, and she gets advice from her future self, and it's really, really cool in the things that transpire between her and her future self, and how her future self is trying to save her from certain things in her life. And it was like, wow, this is deep and profound if you're really, really looking at the nuances of it. And as you're in this journey, you probably would. So if you get the opportunity to watch that movie, watch it. And then wouldn't it be cool? They used to have the thing where you could have a watch party. I know we did that with Stacy, Lauren, and we did the bucket list. And because we were going through the bucket list challenge, and we were able to do a watch party where everybody could tune into the movie, and we were collectively watching it at the same time. And there was a chat on the side, and you could chat back and forth and everything. So it was great. But then I'm going to try it. I'm going to check it again, but they quit doing that. I don't know why. Maybe there was a royalty thing or something. I have no idea why it stopped, but I'm glad I got to experience it that one time. But it would be a cool thing to be able to watch that together and chat about what's going on, right? It would be really cool. If anybody's interested in doing that and just kind of analyzing the movie as we're going, let me know, because like I said, it's funny. And for some people, it might be a little bit outside their comfort zone. I have no idea, because I don't know everybody in here. But it was actually, to me, it was so deep and profound with all the things that were happening. So you'll just have to let me know, and you don't have to let me know here. You can let me know later if you would be interested, if I can make it work to do that together. It would be fun. So yeah, so definitely let me know. So I'm going to go back to our affirmation for today, which is, I divorce my old story and marry the truth of my unlimited potential. And so as your sounds intriguing. It was definitely a lot different than I anticipated. I'll be honest. I thought from the little preview I watched, it was another one of those things where, you know, somebody gets a little stardust on them, and then they wake up and they're the other person, and they've switched bodies, right? That's what I thought it was from this little preview I watched, but that's not it at all. And so I was very surprised, and I loved it. So yeah, so just definitely let me know. So anyway, back to the affirmation. I divorce my old story and marry the truth of my unlimited potential, possibilities, growth, whatever you want to put in there, right? My unlimited whatever possibilities. If I remember right, the name of it is My Old Ass. And I can check and make sure that that's it, but I'm thinking that's what it was. So that's why I had to stop and see, what is this one about, you know? Okay. So anyway, it was the name of it was kind of intriguing, but anyway, so with your affirmation, put it on your sticky note, your index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it on a mirror with a chalk marker. Put it on a piece of paper and stick it to your fridge. Put it somewhere that today you're going to be reminded that you have divorced your old story and really married the truth of your unlimited possibilities. Because when you do that, those old stories do not hold you back anymore. Now, I help a lot of my clients with this very thing, because sometimes people have the idea that they want to divorce from the old stories, but some reason they're still sticking with them and they can't really remove it. And I don't remove the story. I remove the emotional trigger that that story has become. That's what I do. So it's not that you'll never remember you had that story, but you remember the lesson, but it no longer gives you that physical response of feelings about it. It's just, hey, that's what it was. This is what I learned. Woohoo, right? So I divorced my old story and married the truth of my unlimited possibilities, because you do have them. You've just got to be aware that they're there, and then they will be coming to you as you release that old story. And then the journal prompt. Imagine you're writing your acceptance speech for receiving a Most Transformed Life Award. Yes, Most Transformed Life Award. What bold, amazing things did you accomplish once you kicked your old story to the curb and said, I do to the infinite potential? Doesn't that sound just delicious? What bold, amazing things did you accomplish once you kicked your old story to the curb and said, I do to unlimited potential, or infinite potential? Infinite potential. The thing is that we're going to be able to look at our lives today and say, okay, some of these things that happened have helped me become who I am. And these are the things that I've created in my life because of it, right? But then there's a lot of stories that maybe we still have this unknown attachment to, this unknown feeling that we just can't lose, right? And then so you just spend some time with it today to just imagine if those things were in your memory banks as just something that happened and not something that triggered you, and you could glean that lesson out of it. What would happen? What would you be doing for the next year if you left that old story behind? What could you accomplish? And just use your imagination, because there are so many things that we can do in our life if those old stories weren't holding us back. Afraid to get in front of people? That's an old story. Afraid to stand up and dance with your friend in the mall? An old story. Remember, that one's mine. Afraid to go with people and play games because you don't want to look stupid? Old story. Afraid to get in a relationship? Old story. Afraid to be seen? Old story. Afraid to care for someone else? Old story. Right? Where in your life right now are you feeling the effects of an old story that you really deep in your heart want to let go of? And just pretend, imagine that you were able to just leave that old story behind. What in the world would you be capable of and accomplish this next year that would have you making this speech for the Most Transformed Life Award? Because, man, you leave those stories behind, you can be bold and you can do so many things. And let's drop into that potential, right? And just see what comes up. So what I always recommend is for you to have your journal or your notebook, put the date, the affirmation in the journal prompt, and then spend a few moments in silence, 10, 15 minutes, to just breathe, quiet your mind, all that chatter that's going, quiet that down just a little bit so that you can hear your intuition, your God voice, your subconscious mind. And then when you open your eyes out of that time of silence and you just start writing out things that show up for you, oh, it's going to be full of gold that you never thought of if you allow it to. So today, decide that you're ready to write your speech for the Most Transformed Life Award and just start. Imagine 1 year from today, what will you be saying about how transformed your life is and all the amazing things that you've accomplished in the year? So we're getting close to Thanksgiving. So just think, next year at Thanksgiving, you'll be telling everybody about this transformation. What do you want to say? What do you want it to be? And as you do this silence and you let your God voice, your intuition, your subconscious mind feed you information, it is going to be just almost mind-blowing as far as all the things that are going to come out of you. Because remember, our conscious mind is only 12% of what's happening in our life. The rest of it, all the subconscious. So it's got a plethora of things to share with you. But most of the time, we're only listening to that conscious part of our brain telling us the story of who we've been. And it completely changes the vision that we see of us and the world. And it's time to clean off those glasses. It's time to divorce that old story and become who you are meant to be. All right, guys. It's time for me to wrap it up today. So thank you so much for being here. And thank you those that are over on Instagram with me. And oh, okay. That's Terry. Hey, Terry. I just noticed there was somebody, but I didn't know who it was. And I don't know if you heard me. The movie was called, if I'm remembering right, My Old Ass. So definitely check it out. And I'm going to, when I get off here, I'm going to go check it out and make sure it's the same. All right. So Wendy has once again not disappointed. Transform boldly with unlimited potential. And I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. Mwah. Love you guys.